What's up guys, long time no see. Today we are going to learn how to properly time an 07K 5-cylinder. So what we have here is a 07K that I am building for Alan, the original boosted red 944 07K swap car. We finally blew it up. There will be more on that soon, but as I'm building this engine, I got to the point where we needed to do the timing chains and everything, and there just wasn't a lot of information online. So I thought that I would share it with you guys. The nice thing about having the engine on the stand right now is it will be significantly easier for me to show you exactly what's going on. Yours is likely still in your car, in your engine bay, and to even get to this point, the transmission needs to be removed and the rear timing chain covers need to be removed as well. There are a few things you should know about this project before you get started. One of which is you absolutely have to have the proper 07K timing tool kit. That's this guy right here. So it comes with this bar, which I already have one installed here, to lock the cam. And it also has this right here, which screws in to lock the crank in place. I've got that part number down in the description. If you don't have that yet, you should just turn the video off, get it ordered, and then start back up. The problem is without that tool, there's no way to keep the cams in the correct position. As soon as you take the timing chain off, and you start messing with those cam phasers in the back, they will automatically start to spin, and then you're in trouble. So please make sure that you lock everything down properly. This is another 07K camshaft I have laying around, and you can see right here, there's a flat spot that's threaded, and that is where that piece goes. And there's that flat spot with the threads on both cams. One more quick note from my disgusting basement as I edit the video. One other thing that I didn't realize at the time is apparently the bolts for the cam phaser and cam sprocket are torque to yield. It sounds like most people reuse them, but we went ahead and ordered new ones anyway, and I'm going to be swapping those out before we button everything back up. The other issue I ran into was I ordered all of the timing chains, tensioners, all the components, the guide rails, and I should have known that it was going to be an issue, but there are multiple generations of this engine, and they each have their own engine code. Basically, it's by model year. There are two different timing chains based on which series engine you have or what year it is. As you can see, they are very different. This one here is what goes on the older generation engines, and this one is the updated timing chain that came out in like 2008. I'll put all the details in the description for you so you'll know which one. But this part number right here, 07K 109 120A, that is the bottom timing chain for the earlier engines. And that part number right there is the upper timing chain for both engines. I may have forgot that I didn't have my oil pump installed yet, so I'm going to do that real quick off camera. But one thing I can show you real quick is the TTRS forged crank that we have, as well as the IE Tuscan rods. And down in there are some Moly Power Pack pistons. This thing's going to be good to at least 800 horsepower. I went ahead and stripped everything back off of this except for the upper tensioner, just because I had already torqued that and I didn't want to pull it back off and have to reuse that gasket. But this tensioner does have to be off before you can start to install the lower timing chain, which we'll do now. We're going to start by putting the chain on this pulley up here, and you'll notice that it is two levels. One for the front timing or the top timing chain here, and this one on the lower timing chain. And it being in back clearly is why we need to do it first. Okay, so we also need to go around the oil pump here and the crankshaft. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and install this guide here. I put just a little bit of oil on this. You can also use assembly lube. Just don't want it to be completely dry when you first start it. Okay. Now, you don't want to leave a bunch of slack down here. This is where the slack needs to be because this is where the tensioner is. So pull out any slack you have. Like that. Now we can go ahead and put the lower tensioner on. That, boys and girls, is the lower timing chain done. Pretty easy, right? You will have already removed the cam phaser and this pulley here whenever you first disassembled all of this. So now I'll show you exactly how to put it back together. This right here is the cam phaser. And this goes on the intake cam, which is this guy. You'll notice on the back of the cam here, there are holes. And on the phaser, there are holes as well. This is for oiling. I'm not 100% positive that those have to be exactly lined up. I saw somewhere on the interwebs that you are supposed to do that. When I looked at it with Alan, we kind of both agreed that there should be an oil channel in there, but regardless, I'm gonna try to line the holes up exactly. And the way I've done that is on the cam phaser, I have marked the 12 o'clock position based on where these holes are to line up with these holes. And this cam phaser has to go on with the chain. You'll want to pre-install the chain on the phaser like this. And then when you put it on, it needs to go around this coolant passage here and over this guide right here, which again should be oiled. I need to do that. Everybody loves some lube. Chain pre-installed on phaser. Guide here, oiled. You'll want to put the chain around this coolant passage and it'll need to go over that guide. And then you'll put the phaser on the back of the cam. And I am lining that mark I made up at 12 o'clock. And then you'll install your bolt. Audi uses a lot of triple square or cheesehead sockets, if you want to call them that. And this one is a 14. Just going to put this bolt in by hand for now. And then next up is the pulley for the exhaust cam, which is this guy. Both of those hand tight. I'm now going to put the chain around this pulley here. Well, that's a learning moment. You actually need to have the chain around this bottom idler pulley, this guy right here, before you install this, or else it doesn't want to go on. All right, there we go. That's better. Now I'm going to install the guides. As you can see, I've lubricated this one already. And it just slides right on there. This guide is actually the guide that the tensioner rides on. It rides on this post right here. You see that? Yeah, a little easier to see down here. It's this guy right here. So you take that guide, slide it in here. The tensioner will sit right on the end here, and this will slide on that post. Messed up again. Learning together. That guide also can't go on with the exhaust cam pulley on there. So I'm just gonna unbolt this again real quick, put the guide on, and then bolt that back on. There we go. Sweet. That is the timing chains, tensioners, guides, all installed. Now I need to torque these guys right here, which were an absolute nightmare to get off. Torque specs for the cam bolts, 15 foot-pounds, then 90 degrees. As you can see, before I tighten it down, the cam phaser mark's still at the 12 o'clock position. Oh, that is a lot of torque. Gonna mark those guys as torqued. Last thing you want to do before slapping it all back together is pull these guys out. Oh. Ooh, that's fun. I'm glad that this one's on the engine stand and not in the car, because that wouldn't have been nearly as much fun. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments down below. Like I said, I have the link to the 07K timing tool down in the description of the video, as well as the part numbers for the different 07K lower timing chains and which one goes with which engine.